You've been grinding leak code, rehearsing your stories, polishing your resume. You're ready. Or at least you think you are. Because here's what nobody tells you about tech interviews. The smartest person in the room doesn't always get the job. The best coder doesn't always win. The person who gets the offer is the one who understands what the interview is actually testing. Let me reframe this for you. A tech interview isn't a coding contest. It's not a quiz where they check if you've memorized every algorithm. It's a holistic evaluation of one question: would I want to work with this person every day? That changes everything. Companies aren't hiring brains. They're hiring collaborators. They want someone who ships code, yes, but also someone who communicates clearly, receives feedback well, navigates conflict productively, and makes the people around them better. That's the frame you need walking in. Step 1, get the mindset right. Walk in with quiet confidence, not arrogance. You're not there to prove you're smarter than everyone. You're there to show you're someone who solves problems, learns quickly, and makes the team better. That humble competence is magnetic. Think about it. Who would you rather work with? The person who already knows everything and makes sure you know it, or the person who asks thoughtful questions, acknowledges when they don't know something, and genuinely engages with the problem? Be the second one. That energy is palpable in an interview room, whether it's over Zoom or in person. Step 2, the automated screen is just a filter, not the whole battle. Yes, practice your data structures. Know your arrays, linked lists, trees, graphs, but don't obsess over hundreds of leak code problems. That's diminishing returns. Instead, get good at the patterns: sliding window, 2 pointers, breadth first search, depth first search, hash maps for frequency counting, recursion, and backtracking. Master a core set of 20 to 30 problems across these patterns, not hundreds. When you see a problem in the screen, you're not remembering the exact solution, you're recognizing the pattern. Oh, this is a 2-pointer situation. That's a sliding window problem. That pattern recognition is what gets you through. The real differentiator happens in the live rounds where pattern recognition alone won't save you. Let's talk DSA Prep Strategy specifically, because this is where people waste the most time. Spend your first month on fundamentals, really understand arrays, strings, linked lists, stacks, queues, not just memorizing operations, understanding when to use each. A linked list isn't just a data structure. It's what you reach for when you need efficient insertions and deletions at arbitrary positions. An array gives you O and access but costly shifts. These trade-offs matter. Month 2, focus on patterns. Hash maps for counting and lookups. 2 pointers for sorted arrays and subarray problems. Sliding window for subarrays of a fixed or variable size. BFS for level order traversal and shortest path in unweighted graphs. DFS for pathfinding and exploration. Month 3, practice explaining your thinking out loud. Seriously, talk through problems as you solve them. Get used to articulating your approach before you write a single line of code. That verbal reasoning is what interviewers are actually watching for. They can see your code anywhere. They can only see your thought process in the moment. Step 3, system design. If you're going for mid-level roles and above, you'll hit this round. Here's the secret. It's not about knowing every caching strategy or database sharding technique. It's about structured thinking. Start with requirements clarification. Ask, what are we building? Who uses it? What's the scale? A chat app for 100 users is wildly different from a chat app for 10 million. Don't just assume, ask. Then estimate capacity. How many requests per second? How much data storage? Sketch the high-level architecture, load balancer, web servers, application servers, database, cache. Identify bottlenecks. Database is the slowest part, so we cache reads. We need reliability, so we replicate data. We need to handle traffic spikes, so we add autoscaling. Talk through trade-offs, SQL versus NoSQL, consistency versus availability, cost versus complexity. Interviewers don't expect you to design a perfect system. They want to see how you think through trade-offs and make reasoned decisions. Say, I'm not sure when you're not sure. That's honest and competent. Propose a direction and explain why. Step 4, ace the behavioral round. This is where most engineers fail. They think it's fluff. It's not. They're checking for emotional intelligence, communication, and self-awareness. Use the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. But here's what people miss. The result needs to show what you learned, not just what you achieved. Tell stories where you collaborated through conflict, where you stepped up when things went wrong, where you advocated for the right technical choice while listening to others. These stories matter more than you think. I'll give you an example. Instead of saying, I led the migration to Kubernetes and saved us 30% on infrastructure, say, we were running on legacy EC2 instances and scaling was becoming a bottleneck. I proposed Kubernetes, but several engineers were concerned about the learning curve. So I set up a pilot project with a single service, documented the whole process, and ran workshops to bring everyone up to speed. We migrated incrementally over 3 months, and while we hit some rough patches, there was a week where deployment was rocky. We learned from each one and improved our process. By the end, the team was confident with Kubernetes, and we reduced our infrastructure costs by 30%. That's a STAR story that shows leadership, empathy, communication, and resilience. That's what gets you hired. Step 5, Understand the hiring manager's perspective. They're not evaluating you in isolation. They're comparing you to their team, their culture, their pain points. When they ask if you have questions for them, don't ask generic questions like, what's the tech stack? Ask, what's the biggest challenge your team is facing right now? How does the team handle disagreements about? Show them you've done your homework. Ask smart questions about their challenges, their roadmap, their ways of working. Make it clear you're thinking about how you'll help them succeed, not just how impressive you are. Technical direction? What does success look like for this role in the first 6 months? Those questions show you're thinking like a peer, not just a candidate. You're already visualizing yourself on the team. And when the offer comes, because it will if you do this work, negotiate. Seriously, do not accept the first number. Tech companies expect you to negotiate. The first offer is rarely their best offer. Do your research, know the market rate for your role, your level, your location. Use levels.fi, ask your network, gather data, then respond professionally, thank you for the offer. I'm excited about the role and the team. Based on my research and the value I can bring, I was hoping for closer to X. That's it. No drama, no ultimatums. Many candidates leave money on the table because they're afraid to ask. Don't be that person. But what about getting in the door in the first place? Cold outreach and cover letters. When you cold message someone on LinkedIn, don't say, I'm a big fan of your company. Can you refer me? Say something specific. I saw your post about the migration to microservices. Really interesting approach to the... Here's the truth. Most cold messages go unread. Most cover letters get skimmed at best. But you can beat those odds with a simple approach, personalize, and add value. Data consistency challenge. I'm facing a similar problem at my current role, and your solution gave me some ideas to explore. I'm also interested in opportunities on your team. Would you be open to a quick chat? That's a message that shows you've done your homework, you understand their work, and you're not just asking for a favor. You're starting a conversation. Cover letters? Keep them short. 3 paragraphs max. First, who you are and why you're excited about this specific role. Second, 1 concrete example of relevant work you've done, something that maps directly to what they need. Third, a brief closing. That's it. Nobody is reading a 1-page essay. Make every sentence earn its place. And please, watch out for scams. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Legitimate companies don't ask you to pay for equipment up front. They don't conduct interviews solely over Telegram or WhatsApp. They don't promise salaries that are wildly above market for entry-level roles. If something feels off, trust your gut. There are plenty of real opportunities. Don't waste time on fake ones. Now, here's the hard part, and I mean really hard. Rejection. It's going to happen, maybe multiple times, and it's going to hurt. You'll pour hours into prep, nail the technical rounds, have great conversations, and then silence. Or a generic rejection email with no feedback. That stings. And here's what nobody tells you. Rejection often isn't about you at all. It's about timing. They just hired someone else last week. It's about budget. They have a headcount freeze. It's about fit. Someone else had exactly the domain experience they needed for a specific project. It's about internal politics. Another team had a candidate they were pushing for. You cannot control these factors. You can only control your preparation, your mindset, and your response. When you get rejected, and you will, ask for feedback if you can. Not everyone will give it, but it's worth asking. I've really enjoyed meeting the team, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. If you have any feedback on how I could improve for future roles, I'd value hearing it. Some companies will tell you something useful, some won't. Either way, process it, learn what you can, and move on. Do not spiral. Do not decide you're not good enough. 1 rejection, even 10 rejections, does not define your worth or your ability. Every engineer you admire has been rejected, probably dozens of times. It's part of the process. And let's talk about something that messes people up, leveling. You might interview for a senior role and get offered a mid-level position. That's not a failure, that's a reality check. Companies level based on their specific bar, not your title at your current job. Sometimes you'll get down-leveled, sometimes you'll get up-leveled. Neither is a judgment on your worth. It's about where you fit in their structure. If the offer is good and the team is solid, take it. Build credibility, then grow into the level you want. Titles follow impact, not the other way around. Your move for this week, pick 1 behavioral story from your experience and write it out using the STAR method. Not a war story about how you saved the day alone. A story about how you worked with others, navigated a challenge, or learned something valuable. Practice telling it out loud. Time yourself. Keep it under 2 minutes. That single story, well told, could be the difference between your next offer and another rejection. Interviewing is a skill. You can get better at it. The people getting offers aren't just smarter or more experienced. They're better prepared. They understand the game. Now you do too. If this video helped you think differently about interviews, subscribe for more on navigating your software engineering career. Drop a comment. What's been your biggest interview win or struggle? What would you add to this guide? I'll see you in the next one.